Hello, everyone. My name is Yang Jiang. I am a senior lecturer in Robert Gordon University, principal investigator of HRC Augmented Fashion project. We are very happy here to handle all the questions from the live stage and the videos we put on. And we're very welcoming any interest to our project. And Juicy Steed is my co-investigators in my project. So Juicy, could you please quickly introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Josie Steed. I'm a design researcher and lecturer at Gray's School of Art, which is part of the Robert Gordon University. And I'm a co-investigator along with Yang, who's a computer scientist, and also my colleague Karen Cross, who couldn't make it today, from the School of Creative and Cultural Business. And I also focus on kind of sustainability as well, and practice.
Yeah, so as we previously discussed, our project seeks to explore the ways to educate the consumer about the craftsmanship, heritage, value, and the sustainability of traditional fashion and textile products. And we're trying to explore how immersive technologies and HCI applications could be used and interact and engaged with new generations of the audiences and the consumers. Our project website is www.augmentedfashion.co.uk. And we have over 10 partners from across the UK and China. We are working with all these academia and industry partners to look into how the immersive technologies could be explored to enhance the fashion and textile heritages. Our Chinese collaborators is from Donghua University, which is used to call the China Textile University in Shanghai. And our Chinese PI is Professor Rong Zheng. So she is specialized in the textile design and the fashion and the technologies for the fashion. So that is basically us. And if any questions, we will be more than happy to answer and to handle all of this.
There's a question here from Tom.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I saw. Yeah. I also saw a direct message. Sorry. Yes. So the question is, how can XR help with sustainability in fashion sector above retail and selling? What can be done, particularly with the large manufacturing hub that is in China? And this is a very interesting question. We do find out that there are quite a lot of differences among Chinese markets and the UK market. So the Chinese market is usually the mass manufacturing and is the big, bigger companies and the big size factories, etc. Where the UK tend to have the SMEs in a smaller size and scale. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to see if XR could be used to cross the boundaries of the design process of communicating the designers with the fashion textile practitioners and to leading to a sustainable process to the end users, and see how this could help with fashion and textile industries. And we're also trying to see how the virtual reality or the augmented reality, such as mobile AR app, etc., could be used to help with the interactive design and help with cross-cultural communication and cross-cultural designs, so that these kind of Chinese-focused design and the Western styled design could be merged and to come out with any new designs through this type of communications.
I was just going to also add that, one of our kind of key aims in terms of the use of immersive technologies within sustainability is about being able to communicate the hand skills and the craft skills that go behind the product that we can use to communicate and immerse consumers in developing a much better understanding of manufacturing, of quality manufacturing. We work with a number of creative practitioners and manufacturers in Scotland, for example, Harris Tweed Hebrides, which has a very unique business model. And so by using immersive technologies, we can transport the audience to the islands, to experience the environment, to see what it is actually entails to weave a hand piece of cloth by one of the home weavers, and actually take them into the mill to see all of those processes, so that they begin to understand clearly the value of the production methods that go into that, and also I think experience the environment in which they're made. And by working across UK and China, it means that we can develop that cultural knowledge, understanding for our Chinese partners, understanding the Scottish context, and vice versa, our Scottish partners understanding the Chinese cultural context.
Yeah, and we are also thinking about so before the next question, so we are also thinking about how the virtual realities could be used to educate the consumers about the fashion textile sustainability issues. So through our previous visit in Shanghai with our industry partners, such as the Shanghai partners visit. So we find out so there is complete interest from the slow fashion and the fast fashion. So how can we use the virtual reality and augmented reality in an innovative ways to raise up the people's awareness towards the authenticities of the slow fashion, and to change the behaviors on the daily, from the fast fashion to the slow fashion. This is another interesting thing we are trying to explore. And one of the trading companies in China, so we are working with, so they find out it is also very important to let the customers, their customers, to understand the value of some traditional brands. So for example, like Harris Tweed, as Josie just mentioned. So because of introducing the story, introducing the values in a more immersed ways, would give the customers a better choice towards how these brands and the value of the brands being introduced properly in the different cultural backgrounds. So the next question is, can you point me in the direction of an AR fashion app that allows me to scan products and augment into natural environments? This is another very interesting question. We can see there are quite a lot of AR app developed nowadays to do the scanning and the augmented reality applications. But I don't know what do you mean? These questions about augment into natural environments. So is this talking about the virtual objects overlay of real things? If that is the way, then there is possibly, if that's my correct understanding. So basically, this is how the AR cameras works on. So for example, the virtual object. Thank you. So for example, when we have the target images, or the target flat plans, by scanning through a product, or by scanning through Harris Tweed label. So we did a small presentation and demonstrations in the Shanghai workshop to use of these AR technologies. So we scan the Harris Street label, and then the Harris Street, so the 3D photogrammetry models of Harris Street scarves will pop out onto your mobile phone. And then basically your mobile phone is targeting on the real world, but the virtual 3D scarves is coming out on top of that. I hope this answers your questions. There is actually, so in our commercialization workshop we had done for a couple of weeks before, so I provided a video showing, yes, I provided a video showing this piece of work. It's actually been done by our industry partner, Sir Louis, so Steve Comer. So he had done that fantastic demonstrations of the AR applications in our project. So we will put more content of our commercialization workshops onto our website. So you are more than welcome to follow up and to have a look and see those video information. And thank you very much for the question.
Just put up our website as well, just to like to see that.
So Tom just forwarded new questions. So what are our next steps? What are our plans for the next 12 months? So for our next 12 months, we have plenty planned. We have plenty planned activities. Sorry, I'm being distracted by more questions popping out in the chat. And thanks very much for all these questions. Yeah, so continue back with the our next step. So we have plenty planned activities in our project. So first of all is we're gonna be to explore our first augmented fashion conference working with Donghua University. And we will look into how technologies meet the design and how the computing science could be merged with the art and fashions, and to explore the novelties of the research in the field in the 6 months time. And so another ways we are trying to explore is so we are also have a virtual fashion show, which is planned for the next 12 months. So what we are trying to explore in there is we are trying to explore the shared immersive experience and the interactive experience, and how this could be integrated with live model catwalk and with the virtual fashion show across the locations and across the boundaries. Anything else we planned for our next 12 months, Juicy?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just coming on to Romani's question here, just about how our project has been impacted by COVID. Our project started in February, just prior to lockdown. So yes, it has been impacted, definitely. It's provided us with both a lot of challenges, but also I think it has accelerated a lot of the needs to develop more digital and online skills. I think for our creative practitioners, for a lot of them living in remote areas in Scotland, the Highlands and Islands and Shetland and Orkney, where they've been heavily reliant on the tourist industry, and the collapse of that during lockdown, and for a lot of our creative practitioners who are not so confident with the use of online and digital methods, it's really, I think, highlighted the importance of our project in terms of developing accessible toolkits where our creative practitioners can access augmented applications and can also be supported through that journey. One of our creative practitioners, for example, highlighted the fact that 97% of her business collapsed during the COVID because of the tourist industry. So I think it's kind of I think it's really accelerated the need for that, and also has changed also our needs. I suppose we had originally planned that the workshop, the video that you've just seen would have been a physical workshop, a commercialization workshop that we would have held at the university. And because of challenges, and we couldn't do that, we then worked that, and that actually enabled us to have a much larger audience and to engage internationally. We had Chinese audience and partners able to join us, and we were also able to develop far more scope by having 4 very different tailored workshops, which again would have been very difficult for us. So I think the as Yang was saying, I mean, over the next 12 months, we are planning our first Augmented Fashion conference, and it's looking very likely that will be online. And again, I think that means that there are huge opportunities for us. And also, I think just accelerating the work that we're doing with our creative practitioners, both here in China, in terms of collaboration, has become really important.
I think another opportunity is also for the computing or the digital media technologies. So basically, I think every people around the world, because most of us were currently in this pandemic, in the quarantines, so people raise up the importance of digital media technologies and trying to see how these technologies could help to transmit their business from the real world business onto an online business model. And this is now becoming more and more demanding in the area. So there is plenty of opportunities being explored in the sessions. And there is also the opportunities coming out from the sustainabilities, so fashion textile sustainability specifically. So I mean, by looking into how the environment is being actually changing due to the reduce of humans' activity is another very interesting things which is exploring around by the environmental scientists at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at some more questions here. Yeah,
I'm being distracted by the questions at the same time too.
Sorry, just picking up these. I think there has been. I think there was previously a bit of reticence about picking up digital skills. I think there was a feeling for a lot of our practitioners that they were, particularly, I think, in a just slightly different age group, older age group, not feeling confident with that. But I think what's highlighted with the project is that they feel that they need to do it, and there is an excitement around it now, which I think has come out of being much more digitally savvy, being online much more. And I think also because of I think the awareness of the fast fashion industry that's really been highlighted during the pandemic, I think it just really emphasizes the importance of our project in trying to look at new methodologies, technological methodologies that aren't about developing new consumerist practices, but actually changing the system and getting consumers to think differently about the decisions that they make. And that's one of the kind of key things that I think is really challenging in trying to change behaviors is I mean, our project is really about trying to investigate how immersive technologies can have a really meaningful impact on changing those behaviors that consumers particularly younger generations, I think, that have perhaps less, that on one hand are much more aware of the environmental issues, but perhaps have always been very familiar with fast fashion and that model, rather than thinking about clothing in a different context.
Yeah. So there is another very interesting questions about so where would us, so Juicy, you and me, hope and wish the future of our practice to go, and any ideas about what our work might look like in 10 years time. I think from a computer scientist point of view, what I can see our works in 10 years time is I would like to see how the VR, AR, and XR develops in the 10 years time. And that's so the reason why we're not limited ourselves on so the virtual reality glasses or the devices, and we're not limited us onto the augmented reality, but we are also exploring the shared immersive experience. We are also exploring the interactions in the bigger scope. And we are also exploring about so the smart wearables or other technologies in the field. What I can say as a computer scientist, I mean, in 10 years time for the XR or I mean these technologies is, I think we will someday, I mean, in the 10 years time, we might cross the barriers currently exist. So from either you will be isolated from the real world with the VR glasses, or you need to use a mobile phone to do the AR interactions. So there will be further technologies developed that will continually mix the boundaries of the real world and the virtual object. And that is what I can say for the practice in 10 years time. And I can see the virtual communities so build it up, specifically in the fashion and textile industries. So when the designers, so the craftsmanship makers and the design practitioners, so they can all getting together and to work on same piece of design through the technologies that they can interact and communicate seamlessly.
I would just like to add also, you know, just from my perspective as a design researcher and textile craft, I mean, I think moving forward, I would like to see that, I would like to see kind of technology and immersive technologies being kind of much more hybridized with handcraft and making, and that there's a kind of confidence in being able to work with interdisciplinary, working as part of kind of teams with technology and across craft, and really the kind of value of textile making and can be really enhanced, I think. And I'd like to see that being developed more in craft practitioners' kind of portfolio of activities, not just in terms of their sort of branding and promotion, but actually in terms of being able to communicate much more effectively to larger audiences about the value of their work.
And to answer the questions of in what way can immersive technology support sustainability in the fashion industries, I can see the value of immersive technologies in many ways to support the sustainability in the fashion industry. So for example, is like sort of previously discussed about behavior change. So to change the consumers' attitude or the behaviors towards fast fashion currently, because I mean people constantly buying clothes, buying quite a lot of clothes, and then they throw away those clothes quite quickly. So they actually creating the damages to the environment. So through the VR game or through the immersive interactions, so we hope that the consumers' behavior could be changed by raising up the awareness in the sustainability. And apart from that, so for some of the industry partners, when they are dealing with their customers on daily basis, like some trading company, for example, so what we could help is by using the immersive technologies. So this could give their customers a break So during the conversations, or during the business visit, to learn the value of traditional brand, to understand the stories of the authentic fashion and textile industries. So this kind of immersed experience will bring them to a completely different environment and will tell a story in a more interesting way. And another, how the immersive technologies could help with the sustainability issues is, so for example, one of our industry partners works, so POP Fashion. So they've done some works of use of the online platforms so that designers could interact with the online design. So before any samples of the textile materials being produced. So these kind of cuts through the middle stages of the fashion and textile process will be benefits the sustainabilities of the environment in a very good manner. Any more questions?
What about the links between real world clothing and designs for avatar skins? And how much might this overlap and achieve? Yeah, this is something we're really interested in development, and this is something I think over the next sort of 12 months we're really looking at the opportunities for developing design, you know, almost like kind of virtual avatar, virtual models that can be used to demonstrate the kind of artisan and craft skills that we're seeing in clothing. I think one of the earlier questions was about the challenges of the kind of tactile, the tacit nature of textiles, and how do we get that the textures and the surface qualities, and yeah, that is definitely, I think, as the technology develops, is going to be an area that we very much would like to be exploring, because I think that's one of the big challenges for textile and immersive technologies, is recreating that sensorial quality that is so unique to textiles. So I think there are some really exciting opportunities for this. I think how this will be achieved, I mean, I think a lot of that is going to be through collaboration, and that will really be with our design practitioners and our technology experts, both here in the UK and in China, to really explore together the opportunities to bring those two different kind of areas together.
And to add it up, more techie bits. Yes. So we also conducted some initial researches on the how the photogrammetry model, for example, could be used as creating this avatar. So it will look more surreal because it's a photogrammetry model created from a real human. And some of the students had done some works of changing and swap of the clothes under the AR, so augmented reality environment, so through the mobile phones. So this would give the users more feelings towards so how certain dress would look like, for example, under the real scenario, or under the real lighting situations, and then that is specifically onto their size or their body shape. And then that will help them to making better decisions before purchasing, or making better decisions for clothes choices. Because another research challenges we find out, not only research but actually real world challenges we find out, is people tend to buy things, but then they return the products very quickly as well. So there's quite a lot of returns, from the companies. So this is obviously not very sustainable for the environment too. We are trying to say, so if the digital media technologies could be further enhance the customer needs in the this bit for their virtual shopping experience. So that's the technology, another technologies we are trying to explore. Juicy, I do hope that Karen could be here. She will talk about more regarding the the consumer.
Well, there's some really interesting research now going on with companies like the Fabricant, which are, I think, the whole kind of digital self and being able to explore digital clothing as now a viable option for, I think, particularly for sort of consumers who actually, I think the notion of wanting to have, I suppose, variability and variety as I suppose fast fashion has created is not going to go away, and I think it's unrealistic to assume that all of the industry is going to change to a slow artisan craft made industry, and that's not going to happen. But there is a real increase in the kind of digital presence of clothing, and companies like the Fabricant, and I mean they recently sold a virtual dress for an incredible amount of money, and I think that there are new models of our understanding of clothing, which aren't all physical, and as Yang has said, it also enables customization so that decisions can be made by the customer, consumer, before the garments are actually made. So that then provides less landfill and waste, and also in terms of the use of the current supply chain, which with COVID has become, I think, really we've become very aware of the complexities of international supply chains and the environmental impact of those. And so to be able to develop digital prototypes that can replace that physical clothing massively is a huge benefit.
Yeah. So Tom just mentioned, so we only have 1 minute left. I'm really sorry that we are not able to answer all of the questions. So if you have any particular interest to our project, please do visit us in www.augmentedfashion.co.uk. Please feel free to drop us emails if any interest and if any further questions. And thank you very much, Damien, for the comments regarding the AR fashion events. We will keep our website updated about all the coming and already done sessions. So we will be very appreciate your involvement or comments towards our project. Thank you all very much indeed. Many thanks.